Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, and let's join Miss Savannah Wyatt from second grade in the Knox-On Pledge.
Today is a new day. I'll act in a safe and helpful way. I respect and encourage others. I'll be responsible for my learning and accountable for my choices. Today, I will be the most outstanding me I can be. I am a Knox-On hero.
Thank you so much. What a fantastic job, Savannah. Thank you. And again, everyone, please send me your video so I can feature you leading us in the Knox-On Pledge. It's so great to see Savannah. Again, thank you to the Wyatts. Also, today we have two birthdays. I'd like to wish a very happy birthday today to Emad Neshawat. Emad, I hope you have a wonderful day on your birthday. We're all thinking of you. I'm sure you'll be playing with those little siblings of yours. Hopefully you can get outside this morning before it rains. And again, we just wish you a very, very happy birthday. Also, happy birthday today to our school psychologist, Mrs. Clementis. Today is Mrs. Clementis's birthday, so happy birthday, Mrs. Clementis. We miss you. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Today is Wacky Wednesday. I'm still recovering from last week's Wacky Wednesday and whipped cream all over myself, my house, my children. But it was super fun. So today for Wacky Wednesday, I have a little help from one of our teachers with some jokes that will be told by one of her family members. Let's check it out.
Here's a joke for you. What do dogs and trees have in common? Bark. Okay, here's another one. Why don't dogs make good dancers? Because they have two left feet.
Who knew that Mrs. LaCola's dogs can talk? And not only can they talk, they can tell jokes. Thank you so much, Mrs. LaCola. That's certainly quite wacky. All right, everyone, I've been dying to read you this story, Surf's Up for Chemo. For some of you, I've read this to you when you came into my classroom for scavenger hunt. But it's always important to read stories again and again. It helps us with our fluency. We pick up new ideas from the author that maybe we didn't pick up before. And certainly now you can share it with your family since you're at home. So this is one of my favorite stories, Surf's Up for Chemo. And what I love most about it and why I want to share it with you now is that I think it's a really great example of all three of our habits that we've been learning so far. So number one, what is it? Be proactive. Number two, begin with the end in mind. And number three, put first things first. As you listen to the story, I want you to find examples of healthy habit number one, being proactive. Is chemo proactive? I want you to see if you can find an example in the story where he is. Of habit number two, beginning with the end in mind. Where in the story do you notice that his words or actions are beginning with the end in mind? And last but not least, where do you see him put first things first in order for him to accomplish his goal? Here we go. Surf's Up for Chemo. So as I told some of you when you were in my classroom, my office, feels like a classroom sometimes. This book is from Hawaii. I got this when I lived in Hawaii. And actually, it was a book that I bought for my nephew when he was really little. And he gave it back to me after he grew up and thought I could use it with my students. This map on the inside shows the Hawaiian Islands. And you all know that I was on the island of Kauai, this island. Okay. So, Surf's Up for Chemo. It was the day after Christmas on the north shore of Oahu. And check out this picture. It certainly doesn't look like the day after Christmas here, huh? All the girls and boys were on their favorite playground, the ocean, trying out their new surfboards. 5.5-year-old Chemo longed to be one of them. So there we go. That's our insight into his goal. He longs to be one of them. He wishes, he dreams of being a surfer. Chemo wanted to be just like his older brothers. They were two of the best surfers on the North Shore. That right there, guys, I see as being an example of beginning with the end in mind. He has a vision. He knows he wants to be a surfer, but specifically, he wants to be like his two older brothers. So he has a person, two people in mind that he aspires to be like. It's really important to have a vision of the kind of people that we want to be like, and even a specific example of a person that we may know that we look up to. So there's one example already of him beginning with the end in mind. One day, Chemo asked his older brother, Kawika, can you teach me to surf? I was wondering when you would ask me that, said Kawika. Sure, I will. When can we start? Said Chemo. I see that as an example of one of our habits. Which habit is that an example of? Where Chemo is going to his brother and saying, hey, I want to do that. Can you teach me? If your answer was be proactive, your answer is correct. He's being proactive. He's taking matters into his own hands. He knows he's in control and saying, I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to ask someone to help teach me. Right now, said Kawika, the first step to becoming a surfer is to be a strong swimmer. Chemo swam every day. When he was strong enough to swim out to the surf lineup where his brothers sat on their surfboards, he knew he was ready. This page is an example of one of our habits. Which habit is this an example of? I see this as an example of putting first things first. Also, a little bit of beginning with the end in mind, right? To become a surfer, a small step you have to take to get there, according to his brother Kawika, is to first become a good swimmer. That makes sense. You can't be out there on those waves if you don't yet know how to swim. So he's starting with the first step, learning to become a strong swimmer. It's also putting first things first because it says he swam every single day. So he knows to accomplish his goals, he can't be out there, playing his electronics and sitting on the couch. He has to work hard. Chemo asked his brother Pono, will you teach me to surf now that I'm a strong swimmer? I will, Chemo, said Pono. You've worked hard, and soon you will be surfing. Now you are ready for the second step. Now you need to watch. Watch the waves so you can see how they break. So when the waves come up and then they crash down, he's telling him he needs to watch and see how the waves break, okay? How the waves move throughout the ocean. Again, the second step, he's teaching him how to begin with the end in mind, chip away at small steps to reach that goal. Chemo watched those waves. He's putting first things first. Watch those waves every day, day in and day out. He watched his brothers where they sat on the ocean. They were always in the perfect spot to catch the wave. He watched his brothers glide across the turquoise waves, flying from the top of the waves to the bottom. Look at him. Look how determined and focused he is. It looked like so much fun. Chemo sometimes pretended that he was the one riding the waves. Look at him visualizing. He's visualizing his own success. He's picturing himself doing it. They say in research that if you visualize something, it's more likely that it will happen. Okay, so you want to picture yourself. Have that dream, close your eyes, and see yourself accomplishing what you'd like to accomplish. One afternoon, Chemo's mother said, Chemo, you have been studying those waves for hours. Why don't you come inside? I have a story to tell you. Chemo sighed. But Mom, how long will I have to watch these waves before I can surf? Not much longer, said Chemo's mother. When I was a little girl, I wanted to surf too. Yes, my sisters and brothers caught on faster than I did. And then I remembered something. Now, this isn't a habit of healthy kids, but this is something that I think wise people do. They ask people older than them to talk about their own experiences, and they listen. They listen with kindness and respect, while older people tell stories about their experience and the lessons that they've learned. That, to me, is very, very wise. and something that also helps us to learn and accomplish our goals. What did you remember? Said Chemo. I remembered the stories my mother told me about never giving up. When a wave came to me, one that I knew was mine, one with my name on it, I would say, I can catch this wave, I can catch this wave and ride it all the way. Say that with me, guys. I can catch this wave, I can catch this wave and ride it all the way. That night, when Chemo went to bed, he dreamed about gliding across the turquoise waves as he had dreamed many times before. As he paddled for a wave in his dream, he said his mother's words. Say it with me. I can catch this wave, I can catch this wave and ride it all the way. Again, he's visualizing. And now he's using the words, right? That's not a habit, but it's something that wise people do. They pick a phrase or a quote or some part of words and they remember them. And when they're facing difficult times, they remember those words and they use those simple words to push them through that challenge. And for him, it's, I can catch that wave. I can catch that wave. I can ride it all the way. The next morning, Chemo woke to find his two brothers staring at him in the face. Okay, Chemo, you're ready to surf today, they said. Chemo was so excited, he jumped out of bed, he threw on his swimming trunks, and he ran to the beach. I wonder if he will be successful the first time he tries to get on that surfboard. And I wonder how he'll feel if he's not successful. Will he give up? Will he keep trying? When his brothers caught up with him, Pono handed him a surfboard. I learned on this board, and then I passed it on to Pono, Kuika said. Now it's your turn to learn on. Follow us out to the lineup, yelled Pono as he dashed for the water. My daughter wants a surfboard. She wants to learn to surf. In Hawaii, you'd be amazed at how little children are. When they're out there on those surfboards. It's really quite amazing. But as in this story, right, the ocean is their playground. So look at all of you. You're out there on the monkey bars and the swings scaring me because you're doing such crazy tricks because that's your playground. That's what you're used to from the time you're little. But in Hawaii, they're used to the ocean. Isn't that interesting? We start to develop skills based on the habitat or the demographics that we're a part of. So that's really interesting. Chemo was happy to lie on that old dinged board. He began paddling just like his brothers. Paddling was harder than it looked, but he kept going. His arms ached by the time he reached the spot where the waves were breaking. He turned around, he faced the beach, sat up on his board and waited. And when a wave came, he began paddling for it, but he couldn't catch it. Another wave came and another and another. Would he ever catch a wave? So it wasn't easy for him the first time he tried. Kind of reminds me of Finn when he was learning to ride his bike, or Joey when he was working on tying his shoes, or Sam when he was building his teepee, right? He didn't give up. Then Chemo heard another surfer say, "Hey kid, that one's got your name on it." Then he remembered. What did he remember? He remembered his mother's words. He began repeating, I can catch this wave, I can catch this wave, and ride it all the way. And before he knew it, he was up and riding the wave, just like his brothers. Across the turquoise wave he rode until he kicked out. His brothers cheered and shouted, "All right, Chemo!" Chemo was stoked. Chemo surfed every chance he got after that day. And just when he thought his life couldn't get any better, Christmas came around once again, bringing with it a brand new surfboard. Aloha. Okay, I really love this story. I think this story gives us such a vivid picture of the habits that we've been learning about. So when you think about those habits, you have more context now, right? You have a mentor text to align with those habits that we're learning. Okay, you have examples of being proactive. You can think of chemo. You have examples of beginning with the end in mind, the steps he took to learn to surf. And you have specific examples of him putting first things first, right, in order to accomplish his goals. So I wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to share with you because we've talked a little bit about May Day, and I explained to you a little bit about what happens in Hawaii on May Day, which they also call Lei Day, where they make their beautiful leis and they honor people with those leis. And we're still hoping we can get a little trip to Hawaii as one of our virtual field trips. I used to teach in Hawaii. I used to teach 5th grade in Hawaii, and many of my friends are still there. So we're working on that for all of you. Okay. I also wanted to let you all know there will be a Friday family letter coming to your families this Friday. And along with it, there'll be a letter specifically to you. Okay. So I wanted to send you a letter and share with you some of my thoughts about the news that we just heard about not returning to school. I wanted to let you know what we will be doing to help you get through that. And I just wanted to speak as well as I could without being face to face. I wanted to send you a letter and share some of my thoughts with all of you. So make sure that your families are reading that to you this Friday. Okay? Tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. I have so many things to be thankful for. I can't wait to share that. And I hope that you get started on your Google Classrooms. Remember, students, your teachers will be doing report cards and they will be providing feedback based on your participation. So we need you to be doing the best you can in your Google Classrooms, okay? And with that, I'm going to let you get started. We miss you. We love you. We hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. Thanks, everyone.